Boom. Welcome, 2023 short NADA with the infamous Shaun Raines. Shaun,
Infamous.
hello. That's a good thing.
Okay, I hope so.
Listen, before we get started, okay, because we could really cut this up for quite some time. When did I meet you? Just a few years ago, something like that?
Yeah, probably 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think we've known of each other, though, for a long time.
Yeah,
but officially met in person.
Officially, yeah.
A couple years back now.
And, you know, I met him through my business partner, I believe, is Richard Eckert. He goes by Rick Eckert. I don't know if we can get him on film here. He's not that kind of guy. But anyway, there's just the people that we're connected with here, like Shaun. We don't have enough time, but Shaun, just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do and your journey, and if you don't mind, something.
How much time do we have?
Well, I told you 3.5 hours.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Well, let's try to cut that down just a little bit.
All right. We can do that, buddy.
I'll try to tell that short version. I've been in the industry for a long time, in automotive for probably closer to 30 years, believe it or not. The digital side, 1999, I think, maybe 2000. Reynolds & Reynolds had a joint venture with Microsoft. They had an office in Seattle, Washington, which is where I lived at the time, and they were slinging CarPoint leads, which came out of the Microsoft MSN portal. That office also was supporting, I think, SalesPoint, which was Ford's first CRM, and then from there it's been, interesting little journey of a few different companies. Reynolds was almost 8 years, and I ran Reach Local's automotive division for a bit. And anyway, all of that kind of led to going out on my own. And I've got an agency now that actually helps businesses like yours connect your subject matter expertise in voice to the marketing firepower that you need to actually get to that right audience in automotive. Because you guys are niche business, so that's what I'm doing now these days.
Yeah. Thank you very. When you say 1999. If I'm not mistaken, and if I am, please correct me on, and that's okay because we can edit this out. So, because this isn't live, 1997, I think was the first year they ever started even recording revenue from the internet. Is that about right? And then 2 years later,
that sounds about right. It's funny when you think about the late 90s automotive. You probably remember this. I was astonished that I was working for a company that was selling websites to car dealers at the time.
I was probably one of them that bought that.
But 50% of the country in the late 90s, dealers in the country, didn't still have a website. Nope. But they were already addicted to leads coming off their fax machines. Yep. That's about the time I got into the digital side, which is the beginning. So a lot of people, they're like, you still kind of look young, Shaun, but I was like, I had a team of horses on a Pioneer wagon in the beginning of it.
Well, listen, 1996, it's about the time I met my wife. We haven't been married that long, but anyway, we got our first website. And we had, I know all of you out there remember this, we had the high-speed AOL dial-up modems, unlike what we have today.
So you got the good stuff.
Yeah, I did, man. They don't have that. That's like vintage,
See, all you
Atari.
Youngsters that actually have grown up with the term high-speed internet, what Russell's talking about was when it didn't exist.
Yes,
you had to have a ear bleed from the terrible noise that came out of that modem, and then you were on the information superhighway.
Yeah, to change one page took about 3 minutes. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. So anyway, it's interesting. There is really too much to actually go into, but to digress just for a minute on just the technology portion, is we're talking character and integrity. Okay, the guy has a reputation in the industry. This is the automotive business. Make no mistake, a lot of you out there know. I mean, we make mistakes. Okay, we can easily be forgiven. But if you're smoking mirrors and you're full of crap, you're not going to make it long term. And if people don't trust you in automotive, I mean, you could ruin a reputation like that, can't you?
Yeah.
Well,
yes. Yeah. Get that microphone in the right place. Yeah. I wish I could properly attribute who said this. It's not me, but you can spend 20 years building a reputation and absolutely kill it in 20 seconds, right? By making the wrong choice, by doing the wrong deal, and that matters to some people. I think nowadays, unfortunately, it matters less to a lot of people, but once you get to really know somebody, if you have found that they have the ethics and the character quality that matches yours, you probably should figure out how to work together, how to do things together. And this industry has always needed more and more of that, true and real trust, the vendor relationships. they have to be built on real trust. Because if you think about character and integrity, if your company builds trust with the dealer, that means that the dealer is going to believe what you tell them. It means that they're going to trust how you report on your service or your product. It means that if you advise them to step in one direction or another, that the trust is what should be at the vanguard, like dictating how that relationship will go. And that can be done for both good and the opposite of good, right? Yeah. So if I'm your dealer customer and I've given you that trust, you could betray it, and I might not even know, because I'm selling and servicing cars, right? I'm selling parts. I'm operating in retail, and I need to trust that you, in an expert of, for example, service marketing, merchandising, that I can trust you to be the leader in my business. That's huge.
Yeah, it is. Now, we obviously, all of us, have growing pains. We've made mistakes, challenges. Automotive can be very forgiving, but if it was intentional and it was at somebody winning at the expense of everybody else around them, automotive people figure that out real quick. Like you said, in 20 seconds, you can blow it. Now, if you blow it because you made something happen and other people were involved, automotive can be equally as forgiving, can be, as long as the character and integrity is still there and it wasn't something that was very deliberate. We all make mistakes, okay? We have to be vulnerable, we have to get back up, and we have to go at it again. And you have done that. And what is it you're doing? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, if you can.
There are two major areas where my time is spent. One is really a side project, and you know about it.
I do. It's wonderful.
I appreciate it letting me promote it a little bit. But for the longest time, I've wanted the industry to have a better social network for retail first, to be able to connect and find a place that has the best content aggregated and easy for them to consume.
Absolutely.
So over the last couple of years, I started working with some developers, and we're now in the App Store. It's called Alliance. If you were to go in Android or Apple's app stores, you could search Alliance Automotive and you'll find a little red A icon. And what that is, think of it as a combination of LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, but it's only for the automotive industry. First, focus on dealers. We want and it's free. I want every dealer to come there. Right now, my team is aggregating the content that so many of our influencers are putting into. You guys put a lot of content out. And when you put that content into LinkedIn and to Facebook and to YouTube, I wanted there to be an automotive exclusive environment for that, so that not only could people have conversations and connect, but they can also go into specific groups. And if what they really need, and let's say that I'm a GSM or I'm a service manager, and that alliance sounds really cool, Shaun, but I just want FixedOPS, and I don't get enough of that. Well, we have a group for that. So if that's all you wanted, and you didn't want to have to go to 10 different places to get the latest from FixedOPS marketing, it's going to be in that place. So that's one of the areas that we're working on.
And I want to, I know a little bit about this because I'm on that as well. This isn't one of those things, yes, people can come, they can get it and look at it, but there's, earlier we were talking about the character integrity, okay? And I've seen a lot of places out there where anybody could join, say whatever they want to say, and there's not much activity. I'm not on those things anymore. They've become something different. He knows how to explain it better than I do. This is not going to be that. This is going to be a place where they're vetted, tried, true, trusted, part of the community, well-known, but a place to get the real information that's not convoluted. Is that somewhat right?
Yeah, we're not Twitter, so there aren't millions of fake accounts. We actually verify every single person that signs up. So there is a process where there's email verification, of course, but we also ask just a few basic questions that helps us understand if you actually are a automotive professional. And you don't have to work in a dealership. Of course, we want everybody on retail to be in. It's anybody who is an individual automotive professional. You can work at a company, you can work at a dealership. Eventually what we want to do is we want to build an audience that becomes valuable first and foremost for the dealers, and then second, for also folks like you guys from a business perspective, that you would be able to say that's default the best place for us to go and have real conversations and make connections, which do turn into opportunities for you guys to find new business.
They do.
But what am I doing? We were just talking about it. Trust. I want to build a place that has trust built in for both the dealers to feel comfortable, and then when vendors and service providers realize that's the best environment for you. So protecting it, making sure that that audience doesn't feel like they're on the take. We don't want their money, right? We want them to come to a place and say, this is the one-stop shop for everything that we need to know that's going on right now. If I can do that, which we're going to be building heavily in 2023, then this becomes maybe my full-time gig, but most of my time actually I spend with this business, which is Hired Guns. So
tell us a little bit about Hired Guns.
So for the longest time, and you know this
not
about
if
me.
we want somebody dead or anything like that, is it?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No, I love westerns, so I'm a big Doc Holliday fan, and my favorite Val Kilmer performance is Doc Holliday.
It's phenomenal.
Tombstone.
Man. Yeah.
That said, other than being a kind of a fan of the Gunslingers, it's a cool name, is it not? A Hired Guns Age? Because
what do y'all think?
So you have to let us know.
Yeah.
But the interesting take that I think, as more people are finding out about this business, I've been around the concept of the Hired Guns Agency for a long time, and it kind of crystallized in the last 18 months. I'm not taking Hired Guns to the dealer, right? You guys and so many other providers here at NADA, your customer is directly the dealership, right? In some various place, whether you're primarily focused in fixed ops or variable, wherever you're at. And I have anyone that knows me knows that I have a lot of experience working with dealers. I have done a lot of consulting with dealers, and I still love to do that. And I do actually work with some of the OEMs and some of the conferences around education. But Hired Guns is an agency that takes the subject matter expertise from companies like yours and turns it into your marketing firepower. It is very difficult when you're in a niche business. Automotive is a niche, but if you're for example, one of our clients is an outsourced BDC provider. That's a very niched part of our industry,
absolutely.
right? And so what that company needs is not the marketing tactics that Starbucks or Nike would use, like with an addressable audience of millions.
Yes.
They have an addressable audience of maybe tens of thousands. So the best thing that can be done, and this is what Hired Guns does, I want 4 hours with your subject matter experts. Sure. We capture it in a very similar format, video and audio recorded. We'll publish and put a podcast on the map for them if they don't have it, but that's just the beginning. Once we have 1 to 4 hours of content every month, my team goes on behalf of that company and we create the best content that they could ever have from the mouths of people like you, because what's between your ears is what we need, all that information, and then that's what dictates what's going to become a short, longer form YouTube content, an infographic, a case study. So we go back and mine episodes like this, and maybe at mark 5.5, you said something that should be turned into data. And I go back and say, hey, could we get 10 more data points to support that, because we're going to do an infographic that goes with the episode. So it's a completely different way of trying to help a business find their voice and connect it with the audience that it's intended to reach.
That is some of that is I don't really understand.
You look like you do.
Well,
I've
learned
smile and wave and nod. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot here. So we do a pre-recorded hour-long called WTF, What the Fixed Ops. This is just little shorts.
I love it.
Would you come and be on our show one day so we can dig a little bit deeper into some of this?
I'd love to.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
You heard it right here. You got him on the spot. How would people get a hold of you? What is the best way to get a hold of Shaun Raines? To find out more about Alliance, go to the app, pull it up. I did. You're going to find it fascinating. Now watch it. It's still in its infancy. It is going to grow and morph. Now, I don't know about a lot of you, but I've been on a lot of different platforms looking at a lot of different things, and I see the same stuff over and over and over again. This is not that. And then Hired Guns, right? So how do people get a hold of Shaun?
Directly, you could drop me an email at Shaun, as long as you spell it the right way, because I'm the Shaun of Shauns in this industry. There are a few SEANs. I'm an SHAUN.
Say it again.
SHAUN. And somebody can title this when you put this on. But it's SHAUN at hiredgunsagency.com. that'll get me directly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to get in touch. You'll find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, but Facebook is where I really post all the things that I do in my life with my family and going to concerts and all that. LinkedIn is, when I have time, is some of the business stuff. So Shaun at hiredgunsagency.com. And
So one last thing before we go, is family is really important to you as well.
100%.
Okay, you hear that? It is. It's all about balance in your life. Very talented, educated guy. I'm getting to know him more and more and more over the years. And if you need any of that kind of help, this is the guy you need to talk to. For those, most of you that know me probably already know who this guy is. Okay, but if you don't, check it out because you're going to find nothing but the best stuff out there. Thank you very much. Another successful 2023. Peace out. Thank you, Shaun.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.